Hello and welcome to the Talk Norwich City instant match reaction of the Arsenal 4, Norwich City 0 result. That's now 4 straight defeats for Norwich City since the return of football, and also just the 5 wins all season. Thanks to everyone who will be joining us across YouTube and Facebook tonight. As always, we will be reading out all of the comments throughout the evening. Chris, how are you?
I've not been this angry in a long time. I feel let down and just completely disrespected as a supporter base. I'm sorry. I just think the tactics tonight going into the game were pathetic. The substitutions were woeful. We invited them on. They were barely out of gear 3 all night. We made Arsenal look like Brazil. You know, Tim Krul, I'm sure we'll open up on that. You know, Tim Krul making that mistake is, horrendous timing, and I do feel for him. But, you know, it's that sort of error that, you know, will only mean one thing, and that's relegation. I'm just fucked off, Jack. I'm so fucked off with, you know, I hope to God that Daniel Farke doesn't. You know what? I'm actually pissed off with myself that I'm saying the same thing as I said against Southampton, the same thing against Everton, the same thing again, and I'm saying the same thing now. You can't play like that against Manchester United and then just literally bend over backwards for Arsenal. It's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic. And you know what, Jack? There's this whole thing about, Stuart Webber has a plan and all of that stuff. We're going to bloody see if that's true or not. Yeah, because if I was Mario Vrancic, if I was an El Hernandez, I've been disrespected. How the hell are those 2 players not starting? I don't care if we sponsor Lucas Rupp. The guy's not good enough. He is not good enough, Jack.
For the Premier League or in general?
Can he pass? No. Can he tackle? No. And I'm so sorry I'm sorry to get personal tonight. I'm so sorry, but I cannot watch. I'm ashamed to support Norwich. When we went up to the Premier League, we thought we're going to give it a good go. That's what Stuart Webber said. Stuart Webber came on the TNC podcast and he said, we will give it a good go. We'll give it everything we've got. I'll tell you something, Stuart. Daniel Farke is letting you down at the moment, because how the fuck has he not rallied those troops and got them going for it? We just gave it to Arsenal tonight, Jack. It was a house of bloody cards. How can you concede? How can you concede that goal, and then not shut up shop? Wise up. Think. Basics of football. Row Z. Row fucking Z, man. What are we thinking? We're away at Arsenal. I'm speechless, and I just pray for, because I really like Daniel Farke. I really respect what he's done for this football club, but I cannot listen to another post-match conference of him saying how he's proud of the boys and how we should have done better and how we deserved more from the game. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We were nowhere near it. We're in -1 all night long. All night long. It's not good enough.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, look, I don't think I've got too much to say tonight. I think that I've said it throughout, the last 4 games. I was slightly more optimistic after the Manchester United game. You know how angry I was after Everton, after Southampton. So I'm just a bit numb to the feeling. I can remember tweeting after the Aston Villa 5-1 game at Carrow Road back in November time that this team doesn't look good enough to stay in the league, and I was laughed at on Twitter for saying, "Oh, well, you're not a true fan. You're not supporting the boys." Look, it's called realism, people. It's called realism, and unfortunately, this team isn't good enough. Whether that's down to lack of investment, whether that's down to the boys not trying out there, which a few performances it has looked like that. And I know it's a lazy cliche, but it's probably a true cliche right now. And yeah, I can see that you're really distraught, Chris. Thank you to everyone who's commenting. We've got loads and loads of you watching tonight. I take it you all just want to vent your frustration. This is the best place to do so. Please do get your comments in on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, let's start with. There's so many comments, Chris. Okay, let's just start with this one. Lee B on YouTube. He says, unfortunately, we might have to accept that we're not as good as we thought we were. I saw a lot of people tonight on Twitter, Chris, saying, I wonder if people are still valuing Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell, Jamal Lewis, Ben Godfrey at the £30 million mark. This is a really interesting discussion because in our heads, we've got 5 or 6 youngsters who we deem maybe good enough to stay in the Premier League when we get relegated, which would mean transfers away. But they're not proving that at the moment.
Max, Todd and Jamal have been completely let down by the system. Completely. I completely don't agree with that at all, Jack. You know, I think those players have been massively let down on so many. And also Pookie. Pookie's getting some stick. But I'm going to defend him, and I don't care if I get some stick for it. How is Pookie meant to score at the moment? There is no service. We're not moving the ball quick enough. And
he's
Jack,
a better option than Josip Drmic.
Fucking hell, Jack. Honestly, Josip Drmic tonight was an absolute embarrassment. And I'm sorry, but it's set. And I'm sorry to go all Roy Keane on you, but I'm going to. Why have we got a player on our books that's making fucking music and not playing football? What is that all about, Jack? I cannot handle it. Like Josip Drmic tonight, Chris Sutton said what he said on BT. For those of you that watched it, I completely agree with him. What a centre forward, like, what are you doing? Let it go out for a throw, fall over. But don't put it back in the hot pot. Don't put it back in the hot pot. Just pump it into Rose Ed. Keep it simple. We're fighting for relegation. And tonight, it just felt like the confidence went. And I know, Jack, I just think, again, tonight shows an example of the lack of leaders. And I mean this in all senses of the term, because you go in at half-time today, and what is being said at half-time? And by the way, and this is already quite difficult for me to say, but fair play, Daniel Farke makes 3 subs at half-time. Good. But taking off Emi Buendia, criminal. Utterly criminal. The only player really that was doing anything in the first half for us was creating opportunities, was driving the ball forwards, Emi Buendia. And El Hernandez is being so badly treated at the moment, and I believe that wholeheartedly. How is an El Hernandez not starting? Yeah, teams can't handle him. He's the only player that we've got that brings the ball forwards, that drives the ball forwards, that looks like he can create anything. And you know what pisses me off, Jack? You know what really hurts me? Yeah, I'd Grant Holt on the blower. Yeah, I'd Grant Holt on the blower, right? During the game, saying, Chris, I hope you're eating your humble pie. I hope you and Jack are eating your humble pie for saying that this team is better than my team. And I agree with him. We've embarrassed ourselves, Jack. We were idiots for saying that. How dare we disrespect our side? Because that side were, in my opinion, not as talented, gifted technically, yeah? But my God, did they stick together. They had leaders. They were organised. They fought for each other for their death. They would bleed for this football club.
Nearly 1,000 of you watching across YouTube and Facebook this evening to get your thoughts in. If you're just joining us, Norwich City have lost 4-0 to Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. That's now 4 straight defeats since the return of football. Mr. B. Nelson says, if we lose each game through to the end of the season, which you can't rule out, when comes the point we question management? 5 games into a championship season, or do we still believe in the process? Look, Chris, I said it in the last video. I like Daniel Farke, but it would be wrong of us to come on here and not question the management, because any manager whose team is in 20th position in the Premier League will come under criticism, whether it's from Norwich fans or whether it's from neutrals. Where do you stand at the moment on Daniel Farke and the players and everything that he's responsible for?
I'm finding it really difficult, mate. I'm finding this really difficult because the Norwich fans are good. We're good people. We're a family club. We're a community club. We support each other. We support the youngsters. We believe in the culture. We back the board. We know that we're up against it. But I need to see responsibility and accountability from Daniel Farker. I have to see it, Jack. We can't keep just saying the same shit after post match, saying that we were good enough and we were unlucky, and blaming VAR or blaming the ref or blaming the injuries. That team that we fielded tonight, Jack, were good enough to get something from that game. I believe that. I genuinely believe that, and people will disagree with me, but they can, they will, they should, yeah. But they're being let down, and I'm not. And I know the players should take responsibility for this. I'm not blaming Daniel Farke entirely, but the fans have to see honesty, own up to your shortcomings. You know what, Jack? I don't mind if we get relegated. This might shock people, but I mind getting relegated. Yeah, if we go down without a fight, that we don't take responsibility for our actions, that we don't own up to our shortcomings, and we're not honest with the fans. Yeah. Before the season started, there was a lot of talk about this culture. There was a lot of talk about this momentum, this movement within the football club, this springboard. What can we do from here? This is going to be a test, they said. Well, this is the test. And you're about to lose the supporters. Because if you go down this season playing like that every game, you'll lose the fans. They will lose belief in the manager. And that will be that. So we have to take responsibility. We have to admit, because we failed. We failed in so many departments, and we said it last week. And and I know that Stuart will know this as well, because he's admitted it himself. The recruitment wasn't good enough. Yes, it was unlucky, but the recruitment wasn't good enough. And we've seen, Jack, League One clubs spend more than us. We've seen bottom end championship clubs spend more than us. Yeah, we were chancing our arm. We gambled. Yeah, and I would actually argue that the defence that we had last season wasn't good enough for the Championship. Now, people might say, Chris, you're talking shit. We got promoted. We won the league. Let's be honest. We conceded a lot of goals last season. We weren't good enough then. Now, one positive from the game today.
So I want to quickly jump in there, and I completely agree with everything you're saying. And by the looks of things, the comment section do as well. You say there the defence wasn't good enough for the Championship, and I agree. We conceded a lot of goals. I guess the counter argument to that would be, well, our wing backs were very much part of the attacking force that led us forward. But if we're saying that Max Aarons, Jamal Lewis and Ben Godfrey are all Premier League standard, that's 3/4 of the defence. Surely they have to take some responsibility here.
Yeah, I think so, Jack. But I think the unwritten rule is that you protect your young players. And it's desperately unlucky, what happened to Tim Krul tonight. Desperately. I feel so sorry for him, because he's going to take some criticism, and deservedly so. And I'm sure he'll agree to that. That sort of mistake happens 4 or 5 seasons. It doesn't happen often. Now, sorry, I've just had so much beer to try and cope with the pain here. A massive issue for me, and I really want people to comment on this on YouTube and Facebook. Are the defence putting Tim Krul under too much pressure? I think they are, Jack. Yeah. Every time Tim Krul gets it, we're like, every time. The whole crowd, when we're in the stadium, the Barclays sounded like it was having a massive communal shit, because we were so scared of, because the players are putting Tim Krul under way too much pressure. But then to defend the defence, we're not attacking. We're not putting teams on the back foot. Now, Jack, looking at the options we had tonight, looking at Tete at centre-back, who, by the way, I thought up until the first goal was brilliant. I thought he was really good, actually. Yeah. But you've got to take the pressure off Tete. But tonight, the tactics were wrong. We invited Arsenal on. We sat back. We tried to suck up the pressure. I think that's completely naive.
I think the whole Alex Tete thing, and I think Katie Lee commented this in the comments section, it sums up this season, doesn't it? That we're relying on Alex Tete, a player who's been here for 8 seasons, and some regarded as not good enough last campaign, to play in centre-back in the Premier League against Arsenal. We shouldn't be putting ourselves in this position. Now, I know it's unlucky through Tim Close's suspension and Christoph Zimmermann's injury, but still, like, we've got Alex Tete, who's a midfielder playing centre-back in the Premier League. We've had a lot of negativity. Let's get Tommy Cartwright's comment on YouTube. He says, I think we've got to be realistic and realise that we weren't expected to go up, haven't spent a penny, and have stuck to our principles. Now, my response here to Tommy and you know, everyone who's watching, please do, if you agree with Tommy, comment. If you don't agree, comment. This is an open forum. Let's keep it nice. Let's keep things, you know, kind in the comment section. But let's discuss things. My response to that would be, we haven't spent a penny. Well, that was down on us. There wasn't restrictions limiting our spend. And I know that we're very much under a self-funding environment, and we don't have as much cash swilling about. But we've got more than 750 grand, okay? The second point of that is we've stuck to our principles. What are our principles? Our principles were free-flowing football that led to goals. We haven't scored a Premier League goal since the return. 3 games without a goal. We've scored 1 goal in our last 8 Premier League games. That's our driest run since the early 1900s. And third, we weren't expected to go up. No, we weren't expected to go up. But when you get in that position, you make the most of it. We're 6 points adrift. We've won 5 games all season. We haven't picked up a point from a losing position in a game. Like, there's no stats that makes this look positive in any shape or form. I've been trying to find them. There isn't. I went into the Manchester United Cup game. There was no positive stats in this. The only thing that we were holding on to in this Arsenal game was the fact that Arsenal looked a bit sloppy in the first couple of games, and then they've picked up a couple of wins. They were convincing tonight, and they didn't have to get out of second gear. So, Tommy, I love your optimism, mate, but realism to me is addressing the facts here instead of being blinded by optimism. We have to take responsibility, like Chris said, like a lot of the commenters have said. If we want to progress, if that's in life, if that's in football, you need to take responsibility for your mishaps. And there's been a lot of them this season. And the reason we loved Stuart Webber last season, we love Daniel Farke, is the honesty was always there. And I haven't seen that honesty from Daniel Farke in the last few weeks. Chris, what do you think?
I agree, Jack. I think I really like that. I love the relation between football and life as well. You're not going to get anywhere unless you take responsibility for your own actions. I mean, I don't know if Farke thinks the fans are stupid, sitting there thinking, "Oh Farke, you're right, yeah, brilliant, Daniel, brilliant." It's not brilliant. We weren't good enough. You shouldn't be proud of them. We weren't unlucky. Yeah, we weren't. We were nowhere near it. All night long. Now, for me, we need to completely change it for the next game. Completely again. I'm definitely in the play the youngsters cap now. 100%. Norwich fans need answers. Yeah, we need the club to come forward now and give us answers, because at the moment it's an absolute no-show. They've had 3 months off to prepare, to be organised at the very least. And we've not even been organised, Jack. We can't even play negative, defensive Chris Hughton football. We can't even do that. Now, what I would say, and feel free to disagree with me in the comments, I was actually quite happy with Ben Godfrey's first half performance tonight. I thought that was much improved. Absolutely fantastic tackle. And what I liked about Ben Godfrey's performance tonight was how he picked up the ball and brought it forwards. And we saw lots of that in the Championship. And that's what I hoped that we would see in the Premier League, not just from Ben, but from all of them in general. Because I don't think that Premier League teams know really what to expect from Norwich, because we were relatively new on the scene. But now teams know that our wing-backs get forwards. It leaves massive holes in defence, hit us on corners. It's the same speech every fucking game, Jack. Every game. Now, I seriously, I'm so angry, and I'm just annoyed for Norwich fans, Jack, because we've not had any football in so long, and when you're fighting for survival, did you see fight tonight? Because what I saw, yeah, and do what you want behind the scenes, and I know this might sound a bit pathetic, but I'm going to say it. Why is Daniel Farke fist bumping Arteta at the end, smiling? I don't give a shit whether you respect Arteta. Don't smile. Your team's just been embarrassed. You've got a county of people. Hundreds of thousands of people have been embarrassed tonight. Embarrassed.
I completely agree, mate. I think the tactical dissection, I will admit, after the second goal went in tonight, I switched off and then switched back on in about the 80th minute. So I'm not too aware of what went on. But what I did see in the 40 minutes of the game I watched tonight was exactly the same of what I saw in the Everton, in the Southampton game. I was laughed at by some people on Twitter for calling Farke's comments insulting, appraising the performance almost and saying that was adequate. Look, that might be adequate to Daniel Farke. It's certainly not adequate to me. We saw against Manchester United what these players are capable of. We took, a second string Manchester United side nearly to penalties. That was adequate for me. I saw fight. I saw application. I keep calling it that because what we did last season in the Championship was we applied ourselves high up the pitch, we won the ball back, and that was what brought us success. I'm just seeing players jogging about, and that isn't that's just a man management thing. Are these players up for the fight? Do they realise, as you said, Chris, that they have hundreds of thousands of people across the county, across the world, cheering them on? Because I don't think they see that at the moment. I think they are seeing this as they got a massive pay increase from the Championship. They can put in performances less than that, and that's what they're accepting. I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not saying that's been what we've seen all season, but since the return, that's definitely what I've seen, and it has not been good enough. Barry Lee Cullis on Facebook says that's it, not putting teams on the back foot when we have the ball. Pookie getting no support. It's not good enough to sometimes hit teams on the break and maybe score from it. Keep your comments coming in. I'm struggling.
How can you hit teams on the break, though, Jack, when you're not starting an El Hernandez? Yeah? How can you hit teams on the break? It's wrong.
Alan Montgomery on YouTube says, oh, my God, Jack, you fake fan. You didn't even watch the second half. You are literally commenting on a match you only half watched. Look, Alan, fair comment. I think I probably watched about 60 minutes of the game, so more than half. But let's not get pedantic about this. I can explain what's happened because I know this performance has been replicated throughout the season. This isn't an anomaly. This isn't suddenly a 4-0 thrashing. We've seen these performances all season, and that is why we're bottom of the table, and that is why we're 6 points adrift. So I can comment on what's happened tonight because I know exactly what happened, because it's the same that we've seen throughout the season. Individual mistakes, not good enough going forward, a lack of application, and no goals to see from it. That's why I can comment on it. Matthew Johnson, who has been a keen commenter in all of our live streams, so thank you, Matthew. We recognise all of the regular returners. If you are new to our YouTube channel, welcome. This is Talk Norwich City, the #1 Norwich City fan channel. Please do hit subscribe. It helps us out. Look, if we've got one thing to smile about today, it's all of our wonderful viewers. So thank you all for watching, and please hit subscribe. Matthew Johnson says one area Norwich City does have players to change it is central midfield. What kind of message does it send to the likes of Vrancic and Leitner? Granted, Leitner was injured tonight. That's what we were told. When Kenny starts 100%, no matter how little he does. Now, I must admit, I'm quite a fan of Kenny McLean, but it's obvious that it hasn't been working in the middle of the pitch. Mario Vrancic is the man that everyone's been calling for all season. I understand that. He's a very good player on his day. There's Moritz Leitner as well. What have you made of that midfield two? Because it's obvious that it's not working, and yet Farke still doesn't change it.
There's so many things going wrong, Jack. I wish that there was just one area where I could say, actually, I would just tweak that, and that's the answer. But there's things going wrong all over the park, apart from maybe Tim Krul, of course, tonight. Howler of a mistake, but he'll know that. He'll be gutted about that, and we need to back him wholeheartedly as supporters. He deserves that. But all over the pitch, defence, midfield, and the forward line hasn't been good enough. They've not been given the support by the board, and they've not been given the support. Unfortunately, I think Stuart has done everything that he thought that he'd got it right, but he's got it wrong. So there's been no backup all season. And Jack, I'm actually not worried about the short term now. I'm really worried about the medium and long term. I feel sick thinking about the long term, Jack, because if we lose our best players and, we're going to be left with the players that are slightly less attractive to buy, which is the likes of Mario, Marco, and Anel. Now, how pissed off would you be, Jack, if you'd been promoted to the Premier League? Your stats don't lie. Mario Vrancic's stats don't lie. Daniel Farke's the stat man. Now, you tell me why Mario Vrancic doesn't warrant a start in that team. I think it's so wrong, Jack. Now, I think criticising the midfield is tough because of the injuries. I do, although we've not been good enough, so please don't shoot me for that. I thought that Kenny was okay tonight, but you're forgetting that all of these players are all shot for confidence. They're not getting any leadership. They're not. There's no plan B. We're throwing players on. We're not thinking. There's no. It's not clear what our identity is. It's not clear what we do when we go behind. And all season, Jack, and the stat that hurts my feelings so much that the commentators keep saying over and over again, we have not won a game all season when we've gone behind. Now,
a point
for me, Jack, yeah, how long can it take for someone to learn? Now, I criticised Daniel Farke a lot in his first season at the club. I thought even despite the fact he was an inexperienced manager, he should have learned faster and give him his due, won the title, fantastic, really respect him. But I can't get it in my head. Now, feel free to, in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong here. Why is it taking Daniel Farke so long to learn that in the Premier League, when you go a goal down, you've got to change something? And why is it taking Daniel Farke so long to learn that we've got to be proactive rather than reactive? And not just the Premier League, Jack, the Championship too, because I've been moaning about this in the terrace since his tenure started. I love Daniel. I really respect him. I genuinely do. But now's the time for him to come out and say, look, guys, you know what? I think I might have got this wrong. You know what? I'll hold my hands up. This hasn't been good enough for the Norwich fans. That takes a real brave person. And if I'm Stuart Webber now, I'm stepping in and I'm having a conversation with Daniel. I'm saying, mate, we're going to lose the fans. We're going to lose the fans. And actually, if I was Daniel Farke, I'd be saying now, look, it's likely that we're going to lose these players. We need to be bedding in the youngsters. We need to be bringing through the players that truly care about this football club. That's my opinion. Josip Drmic, absolute joke. Nowhere near the mark. Switzerland's best DJ, Norwich's worst striker.
I just saw a comment here from, there's so many. Sorry, I'm losing everyone's comments tonight. Apologies. What I would say, based on that comment, here we go. Mike Cockrell, good old Mike. He sits next to us at Carrow Road. Really miss seeing all of our friends in the Barclay, actually. Hi, Mike. He says it's almost like it's time to start playing the youngsters and start using these last games as extra pre-season games for preparing for the Championship. It seems like the players are switched off and treating these games like training sessions with no fans behind closed doors. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the transfer business this season, so January's transfer business, Lucas Rupp, Daniel Sinani, Sam McCallum, for me, they're three signings preparing for the Championship already. Like, they're not Premier League standard, and we haven't seen them. But just as a, League One footballer, where was Sinani? Not in Austria, somewhere like that. And Rupp, who obviously isn't Premier League quality, we've seen that. So it's them kind of signings that said to me, okay, we're preparing for the Championship halfway through the season. That's a worry, but I can kind of accept relegation because, we were pretty much resigned to that from the very off. And I know people don't want to hear that, but, deep down, we all know that the money we spent, the players we had to utilize. So that's my thoughts on that. In terms of bedding the youth in, look, I completely agree. The thing is now there's nothing to lose, and there hasn't been anything to lose from the restart. I was excited going into that Southampton game because we hadn't watched Norwich for a long while, and I kind of misinformed my brain that we were a lot better than we are. We know our standard. It is 20th in the Premier League. People were laughing at Bournemouth tonight, watching their performance. Look, we couldn't beat them 2 times, so let's not laugh at them. We need to, address our own issues here. I completely agree, though, Chris, about the medium and long term. These are a really, really crucial few months for Norwich City, and I'm sure everyone's grasped that. All you have to do is you have to look at Huddersfield, the previous regime that Stuart Webber is in. Look where they are now. They are staring down the barrel of another relegation. I watched them just a few days ago, and they're staring League One straight down the barrel. Now, look, it's probably not going to be that serious, and it is very easy to get too hyped up right now. But you have to remember, even if we don't lose all of our players, even if Cantwell stays and, I don't know, Godfrey stays, I'm making things up here. The likelihood is they will leave. But even if they do, the energy is different. The way in which we play will be different. Teams will know what to expect from us. So let's not kid ourselves that we will go straight into the Championship and then bounce back. It's so tough to get out of the Championship. We've seen that before. Remember when I think we beat Watford on the final home game under Alex Neil's tenure in the Premier League?
Yeah.
We cheered them off. We were fully behind Alex Neil. We thought, right, we've got the squad. We'll fall back in the Championship. It'll be really easy. It wasn't easy. Alex Neil ended up being sacked, and it took a lot of rejigging to get this side back to where we are. So we probably know in the short term that Norwich City will be relegated. I think we all know that, unless there's some deluded optimists out there, and I'm sure there are. But middle and long term, these are really important times. You have to, one, get the fans back on side, and a lot have already been lost. Yeah. Two, you have to set the responsibilities correct, and you have to say, right, we've got this dead wrong. We're switching things up. We're keeping the players, etc., etc. And three, as you've mentioned, Chris, Mario Vrancic, Marco Stiepermann, Onel Hernandez, three players who contributed so much to the promotion, haven't been given a chance in the Premier League, and will be going, look, I don't want to play for you anymore. I can't be asked. If you don't trust me, I don't trust you.
They could do, Jack, and that's the risk that we run. And I think, just to bring up a scenario in the short term, we look at Daniel Farke putting all of his chips on the FA Cup. It's romantic. It's cute, it's lovely, and it's honourable, but it's daft. What were we thinking when all of the teams around us are also really poor and also can't buy a win? What are we doing? Not starting our best 11 against Southampton and Everton to try and beat them. I just felt like we were too compact. We sat there, we took it on, we tried to nick a goal. We're trying to nick a goal when we're not playing the right players to do that. And you talk very, very well there, Jack, about the Championship and how, it's all very well and good saying this team will be fine for the Championship. This team will bounce back. We're going to lose a lot of players. I think that it would be a miracle if we keep most of our players. And I know that people are saying we're not good enough. I get that. But I still think that the pedigree, the individual pedigree, is there for those players to be taken by bigger football clubs, which is fair enough. Mate, I just think this is turning into a bit of a PR disaster, and it's turning into a culture disaster as well. It is, because at the moment we have to stop the rot. We have to stop the rot. And you can't keep approaching games like we are. We can't keep doing the same thing. What's the famous Albert Einstein quote? What is it, Jack? Like,
keep doing if you keep doing the same things over and over and expect different results, that is insanity or something like that. Yeah,
and it is. And
I never thought we'd be quoting Einstein on here, by the way.
Well, here you go. It's time to bring up Einstein during these times.
Jack Green, my good friend on Facebook, saying 4-0 laughing emojis. Come on, you Gunners. Look, that is the epitome of where we are. We've turned into a laughing stock. And I've had a lot of Arsenal fans in my WhatsApps and Facebook messages this evening laughing.
Thanks. I just want to say, by the way, on that note, thank you for all of the Arsenal fans that are in here right now giving us time and attention. And I also just want to say that it was great to see an atmosphere at the Emirates tonight. It was brilliant. Honestly, quality support from the home fans. So loud, which is great because, normally it's so plastic and they really can't generate any atmosphere. So it was brilliant that they really turned on the noise to support their team tonight against a team that are struggling to survive.
And any Arsenal fans watching for the first time, please do hit subscribe for more of that Arsenal-loving agenda. I saw a comment a moment ago that said we're crying out for Amadou and Ralph Barman. It's like I completely forgot about them signings because they would have cost us an absolute ton in agent fees and wages. And again,
mate, Jack, I was at the point tonight where I would have honestly, of course, if he's not a registered player. I would have stuck Chrissy Domagala up top. I would have stuck Chrissy Domagala up top with his Norwich Cathedral tattoos, because he would have shown more energy, more enthusiasm. And you can't just have Max, Jamal, and Todd doing all the running. You can't have that. You all need to be on overdrive. Yeah. We need to look like we need to be playing like people are questioning that the players aren't on drugs. Yeah. We need all of the players gung ho, going crazy, big tackles. I don't give a shit. Just at least look like you want it, because tonight the first goal went in and everyone put their head down. And this might be why, Jack, and let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, because you've seen your leader defeated. You've seen your leader make a mistake. Now, when you've only got one leader in the team, Jack, that's on the field of play, that's a massive issue. Yeah. And who's cuddling Tim Krul? Who's saying to Tim Krul, it's all right, Tim, it's okay. Get your head up, chin up. It's all right. Yeah. Tim needs support. You know, I think that the defense, I think the whole team, I think that, you know, Daniel Farker as well. We're playing a formation that is putting so much pressure on Tim Krul. It's unbelievable. And I know it was a silly mistake, and I know you shouldn't be trying that there, but it's going to happen with the amount of pressure that we're putting on him. I feel desperately sorry for him tonight.
Yeah, I've got absolutely no complaints about what I saw from Tim Krul. I know it was a howling error, but you know, them things happen, and he's saved us enough times this season. I just had a message from Galton Blackiston who said it looks like the players have thrown the towel in. Depressing. Mike Cockrell says, clutching at straws here, lads, but one of the few positives I can see is that Webb has protected the club from financially to face relegation. After seeing Wigan go into administration today, I fear they're not going to be the last club to be hit with these conditions due to COVID and the mismanagement of finances. Look, I agree, Mike. I do agree. And, you know, to keep football clubs financially stable in these times is incredibly difficult. But football fans, in the best possible nature here, don't care about the finances, right? Like we don't go mad on the terraces because we've turned the profit in the April tax year. Like that's not what we're going bonkers about here. And of course, football clubs need to be financially well run. And if that doesn't happen, then you end up in a really sorry state. But I think fans can expect a football club to make more than £750,000 worth of investment going into the Premier League. And I know, before everyone jumps onto the bandwagon, I know that players' wages would have, you know, increased exponentially. And I know that we spent loads on agent fees, etc., etc., etc.
There's a middleman, though, isn't there, Jack? There's a hybrid of those two. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I'm not even touching the sides. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I don't really know what else to say, Chris. I mean,
where do we go from here, Jack? What do you do for the rest of the season? What do you do now of your Stuart Webber? What do you do now of your Daniel Farker? What are you saying to the players? What sort of communication are you having? I don't know how to manage this. I don't have the answers. I'm not afraid to admit that. But as a fan that loves this club, that's grown up with this club, you know, my whole family, you know, we bleed yellow and green, but we're being hurt now. We need answers. And I don't have them. I need the club to give me something, because we're not getting anything. We're not getting performances. We're not getting anyone admit to their shortcomings. No one's really saying anything. We're just going down without a fight. What would you do?
My mum's just sent me a picture of her bet slip from the start of the season. I'm not sure if you can see that. She put a couple of quid on Norwich to stay up. And so
get back.
Hardly be time to throw it away. Look, Chris, I think us Norwich fans, although we're moaning tonight, we're actually quite an optimistic bunch in the whole. And I think that we're quite easy to please. And I think we're quite accepting of change. I think we're quite accepting of failure when we have an honest response. I think what we need to see now is in the very short term. I've been refreshing the Norwich City Twitter feed to try and see what the post-match comments have been from Daniel Farker, and it doesn't look like they've gone up yet. I thought they'd be up by now, but they haven't. I want to see Daniel Farker say that he got it wrong, and
no way, he won't do that. And Jack, and we got murmurs of that from Russ in Russ's time. There's no way that Daniel Farke will do that, and that's what worries me, Jack. That's what worries me. I actually just wish that we would accept, let's embrace the yo-yo. I don't think there's anything. You know what? I'd rather be a yo-yo club than Ipswich Town. Yeah, I'd rather be a yo-yo club than a club that's sitting in the Championship, dragging through life like a cold bag of shit. I'd rather be a yo-yo club than actually probably a mid-table Premier League team that's not really achieving anything. Yeah, because it's fun. We enjoy the journey. We get promoted, playoff final. We're winning trophies. It's great. Yeah, but let's admit to that. Let's embrace it. Let's not. We can't. I feel like at the moment, Daniel Farke is putting lipstick on a pig. He is putting lipstick on a pig, and we need to admit that we've got a pig. And let's stop putting lipstick on the pig. We're not good enough for this league. We've made a lot of mistakes. The recruitment has been poor. The fans need to hear that. So we respect the culture. So we respect the movement. So we respect what we're trying to achieve. So we respect what we want to do this next season. Yeah. Honestly, Jack, at the moment, right? Say we go down in the manner that we're going down. Are you honestly going to be saying to me now that as a fan, you're going to be up for next season? There's plenty of fans already saying, fuck, this was so shit. I'm not sure if I want this again next season. I'm not sure if fans aren't enjoying football already because of VAR. We need something. Yeah. It's not just about the community. We have to see something on the pitch. Yeah. The boys at Along Come Norwich, Barclay and Project have been superb. The fan movement, the atmosphere, the flags, all credit where credit's due. They've been a diamond this season. They've really, really managed to get the fans up for it. Yeah. But I think the club have taken that for granted. And I'm just being honest with you. And if they haven't taken it for granted, now's the time to talk. The fans need answers.
I agree. We have Daniel Farke comments. Thanks to the person who alerted me. Paddy Davitt has tweeted them out. Daniel Farke was asked after the game, did the 3 halftime changes suggest that he got it all wrong tactically? Daniel Farke's response was, no, not at all. We had 2 or 3 very good chances. We wanted to be defensively solid, but maybe after going behind, we felt a bit sorry for ourselves. We didn't have that aggressiveness, so I wanted a sign. Daniel Farke was then asked, are you giving up on your survival chances? Daniel Farke replied, never. We never give up. But we have always been honest and realistic. As long as we have a chance, we keep going. He was then asked, will it be difficult to pick the team up from this? Daniel Farke replied, it will. Of course it will. A 4-0 defeat, I'm not willing to give any fighting messages. We have to focus on our mistakes and put them right. He was then asked at 2-0 down. At 2-0 down, Daniel Farke said, I thought we looked like we could get the next goal, but we then gifted them another chance. Look, they're the main comments from Daniel Farke's presser. I'm sure you'll all read them and watch them later on wherever you find your Norwich City content. But they're the comments from Daniel Farke this evening. Loads of people saying about the pig comments. They crack me up as well. Chris, just hang in there, old boy.
What is he thinking? He's got to be deluded. We never looked like scoring. We never looked in it. Why is he not just saying, I got it wrong? The team weren't good enough. Yeah, that might stick a rocket up the arse. There needs to be some conversations had. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that are shying away for some huge comments that need to be said. I cannot believe that he has come out in that press conference and said that. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I mean, I've only had 3 Estrella down tonight. Thank God, by the way. But maybe Daniel Farke has been drinking before the match. Because what game is he watching? What game is he watching? What team is he watching? Like, come on, stop saying that. Like, it's just bullshit. The fans know it. The players know it. Yeah, it's just, you can't be a blind optimist, yeah? I know you've got to motivate your team, but you have to change your tact now. You have to say we weren't good enough. You have to have some difficult conversations with those boys. And if Daniel Farke genuinely believes that his tactics were good enough, then he needs to put the players in the room and say, yeah, you know what? He wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough. He made a mistake. Now, people might say, Chris, stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you pick out individuals? Well, it's not working at the moment because we're clearly shying away from some difficult conversations in the changing room. I'm sure there'll be words said today. I'm sure. But will they be coming from Daniel Farke? I don't think so. I think Daniel Farke speaks very well in the media. And again, I love him. I respect him. I genuinely do. But he's got to change his attitude after the game because the fans are getting tired of hearing the same spiel over and over again. We weren't good enough. We did not look like scoring tonight. We were short of ideas. We were short of creativity. We got the tactics wrong. We were embarrassing. We made them look like Brazil. They were barely out of third gear. We weren't passing the ball quick enough. We looked good again, maybe for 10 minutes. And I say we look good. I mean, we look good in comparison to what we have done, Jack. And we speak very highly of that Manchester United performance. Maybe the fans are idiots. Jack, maybe Norwich fans have been used to such shit displays against Everton and Southampton that Manchester United display looked like amazing. But look at the stats from that Manchester United game. Jack, look at the stats from that Manchester United game. Todd Cantwell hits a great strike, by the way, superb strike from 25 yards out. But apart from that, can you really tell me can you really honestly, I mean, I had my yellow and green glasses on. I was bigging up the team. I thought we'd turn the corner. We haven't turned the corner. Lipstick on a fucking pig yet again.
I'm really glad you raised that point, actually, because I was listening to the brilliant On the Ball podcast, Michael Bailey's podcast, and he made a good point, actually. He said, just be careful getting too carried away with this Manchester United performance. Like you said, if you looked at the stats, I think Manchester United had over 30 shots. And let's also not forget, they made 9 changes going into that game, and they still beat us. It was still a loss. We still didn't get over the line. The only reason I was pleased with that Manchester United performance, it might have been, look, I might have had my delusions because I was on a live stream with everyone here. I was enjoying myself. I was having a couple of beers. It felt like I was back at the ground for a little while. That might be why it felt so good in my head, when in actual reality, it maybe wasn't that good on the pitch. I think it was better. I think it'd be harsh to suddenly say, oh, the Manchester United performance wasn't good. I think it was better. But as you say, if you take it as a sample size of Everton, Southampton and Manchester United, yeah, that looked amazing, that performance, because it was being based off of 2 really abject displays. But in the grand scheme of things, we still got beat by a Manchester United side that had made 9 changes. A few comments coming in saying, Galton saying, Jack, where's your drink? Galton, mate, I'm trying to cut down the beer, so I'm on water tonight, but I've drunk it all. Basically, loads of people saying, Chris, do you think that the comments from Daniel Farke are fairly kind comments? Do you think that's him just protecting the players?
And why? Why protect them, Jack? Why protect them? I would normally agree, yeah, if it's been a slightly off par game, yeah, if you've almost got it right, but you've fallen at the last hurdle, fair play. But we've been beaten 4-0. What I will say, and again, always, I do really want to try and do light and shade and try and be positive, Jack. We've played some good teams. Everton, Carlo Ancelotti, Champions League winner, fantastic manager, yeah? He's got Everton organised. Manchester United, World Cup winner in midfield, coming off the bench. Martial in the form of his life. Arsenal. I know Arsenal have been a bit of a joke for many seasons now, but they're still a top club. What's key now and really fucking worrying, and by the way, I'm really sorry if anyone under 18 is listening to this. I'm sorry to swear, but I'm fed up of the bullshit. We're now coming up against Brighton, Watford and West Ham. Brighton, Watford and West Ham.
Is that our next few? I haven't even looked at the next games. Is
Brighton, Watford and West Ham. Now, for me, yeah, here's an excuse, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm giving Daniel Farke and his team an excuse. We've played some great teams. We've played some good teams. But now we're playing some teams that are in the relegation zone. And you look at how Brighton are organised when they come against us. Look at what Nigel Pearson will do for Watford when they come up against us. And dare I say, even West Ham. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in the comments. I think West Ham are winning at the moment. Yeah. You know, these next three will be the nail in the coffin, if it's to be so. I already think that tonight another nail has been put in that coffin. I really do, because the players' confidence is going to be on the floor, and the players.
It's already been dug up.
Yeah, I agree, Jack. But you know what? I'm desperately trying to pluck something out of thin air at the moment. We're about to play 3 games in a row against teams where we should be playing a lot better than we have been. We should be scoring goals. We should be having more than one shot on target. We should be winning the game to the opposition.
No, completely agree. Let's get a few more comments and then we'll wrap things up. James Young says, so tired of hearing from players pre-match on social media saying they're up for the fight, but then they turn in that tribe. Stay quiet and do your talking on the pitch. James, echo your thoughts, mate. I can't really...
I know what you could do, Jack. I know what would be good. Why not release a new single? That'd be good. Why not release a new single? Yeah, that's brilliant. Saying money on my mind, man like a diamond, with a topless girl with her boobs out. Absolutely fantastic. That's a great idea. Brilliant. Yeah, awesome. Really smart. Really...
Is that the lyrics? Have you learned them?
Yeah, you know what? We might get done for copyright, but let me play.
No, don't play it. We will get done for copyright. The only thing that could make today worse is Josip Dermich's record label taking down Talk Norwich City. Imagine it.
He says, money on my man like a diamond. And then, look at this. Ready? Look at this. Look at this for behaviour. You ready? You ready for this? Are you ready for this? It's coming. It's coming. Here we go. Here we go. Look at that. Now, for me, that doesn't look like a player that respects what they're doing. Yeah? I'm sorry, Josip, but you've got it so wrong, mate.
All I want from Josip is goals on the mind, I'm afraid. Right, okay. Let's call it a day. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in.
Jack, I'm so worried about Brighton. I mean, you know my thoughts and feelings towards Brighton. You know what I think about their football club. And I'm honestly, I don't know if I can take coming on for another live stream if we lose to Brighton. I honestly can't take it because I will be destroyed.
Well, I guess that's the selling point for this Saturday's live stream. Then we'll be going live straight after the Brighton games, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Basically, thanks to everyone who's tuning in. We really, really do honestly appreciate the support on the channel recently, and we support you guys sticking about and commenting. Let's not forget that football, the reason we all love football is that community feel, and it's been taken away through COVID, and that's completely out of our control. But hopefully, jumping on here, and even if it is negative, we're coming together in some capacity.
In pain.
And
we'll enjoy the good times, Jack. Look, it's always, I know it's cliche, but take this pain. I know it's hard to take, but take it in, guys, because this will make the good times feel so much better. Remember the jubilation of winning the league last season away at Aston Villa. Far too many beers, but absolutely superb. Yeah, that's what supporting Norwich is all about. Yeah, we're not the richest football club in the world. No one wants to buy us. Yeah, now let's come together. Let's stick together. I know it's difficult, but let's start to try to stick together. Let's not get personal. Remember why we love Norwich. It's these times, it's these painful times, Jack, that when we're back in the Championship will bring us all back together. It's the hurt that will make us propel forwards as a fan base.
Completely agree. Final comment. It says, Connor Snaith, cheers to the entertainment. Let's have some positive thoughts for Brighton. Chris, one positive thought.
Fuck. One positive thought for Brighton. Maybe they'll be complacent against us because they've just watched us get roll over to Arsenal. Maybe they'll come and play their second string team against us. Maybe. Maybe we'll start to see individuals play for deals at new prospective football clubs.
That's loads of positive thoughts. So my positive thought for Saturday is the weather forecast looks promising. So we can maybe sit in the garden and watch it instead.
Fucking hell, Jack. All right, guys, massive thank you for tuning in tonight. Thanks for all your comments. I know it's really hard watching Norwich at the moment, but Jack's right. Despite the pain and the negativity and the rants and the raves, it's really great to see Norwich fans coming together in a completely unprecedented time during the coronavirus. So thanks for tuning in to Talk Norwich City. I really genuinely appreciate it. I know Jack does as well. So cheers, guys.
Yeah, thanks very much. We'll see you after Brighton on Saturday. Ciao.